Good day to you, sir. My name is Saktiveer Aragan. Today I'll be presenting about the hydrostatic pressure experiment under the topic of fluid statics for our first lab. In terms of the introduction of this experiment is designed to illustrate hydrostatic pressure distributions and hydrostatic forces on a plane surface. Hydrostatic pressure distributions in a static fluid varies only with vertical distance and is independent of the shape of the container. The pressure is the same at all points on a given horizontal plane in the fluid. The pressure increases with depth in the fluids. So what this basically means is, for example, in simpler terms, if we place a bottle and we puncture three holes at three different depths, the hole at the highest depth will have the highest pressure, pushing the water out the furthest. That's just in simpler terms what we're doing, and this is the general equation that we'll be using throughout this experiment, which is P equals to P ATM plus rho gy. In terms of the objective is to test the theory of hydrostatics for force and pressure center on a submerged plane surface. The methodology in terms of the equipment used is a toroid device, which consists of a level, a balance, and a weight hanger. The balance was made up of the toroid, which was the balance so that the face of the toroid was vertical with no water present, and an area for mass to counter the movement caused by the hydrostatic force on the vertical face of the toroid, and a precision depth measuring device, a device that enables us to take measurements of the height of the water within a tenth of a millimeter, which makes it very, very accurate. And the diagram attached to the side is the various other parts of the toroid. In terms of the procedure, the first thing that we do is with the empty tank, we calibrate the balance arm so that the balance arm was horizontal. The tank was filled so that the water level was even with the top edge of the toroid. Mass was added to the balance to level the system again. We also recorded the level of the water. This level was set to a specific height so that all other measurements would relate to this first measurement. An amount of mass was chosen to be removed from the balance. Then the system was leveled by removing water from the system. These steps were repeated for the rest of the data points. And this figure is the 2D version of the toroid with the weights and the water as well in the figure. And this is the results. I know the image is a bit blurred, but I'll try to explain to you what these two boxes actually mean. The first box is the measured data, whereby we have height of water corresponding to the mass of the scale. And as you can see, as the mass of the scale increases, the height of the water as well increases. Using that data, a calculated data box was also formed, whereby data such as force and pressure was calculated, resulting in us getting this graph. In terms of discussion, there's a hydrostatic pressure force acting on a circular surface of the toroid. The equivalent force will act in a direction perpendicular to the curved surface of the toroid at the location through which it acts. The center of pressure will lie on this equivalent force's line of action. Geometrically, the curved surface at the toroid is an arc on which all the points are the same. Constant radial distances from the hinge on which the toroid is mounted like a circle. If the resultant force line from the hydrostatic pressure is normal to the surface of the toroid, it is also normal to the tangent line at the edge of the circle. Tangent lines of a circle always intersect radial lines extending to the point of tangency at the right angle. This means that the hydrostatic pressure force acting on the curved surface is coincident with the lines extending from the hinge to the point where the equivalent hydrostatic pressure force acts. This means that the moment arm of the hydrostatic pressure force on the curved surface is zero, and therefore no movement is generated of the pressure force on a curved surface. Two errors might have occurred while taking the data, which might have hindered the accuracy of the data. For instance, the leveling bubble is a qualitative measurement of an angle of elevation relative to the direction of gravity, which is a systematic error. Incorrect usage of apparatus and incorrect eye level while reading also hinders the accuracy of data collected, which is a random error. To conclude this experiment, practical and theoretical hydrostatic pressures have been measured using a hydrostatic pressure apparatus and calculating the resultant force acting on the plane addition to the center of pressure using some formulas. This experiment proved that hydrostatic forces are resultant forces caused by the pressure loading of a liquid acting on a partially or fully submerged surface. When a surface is submerged, a pressure is developed on the surface due to the fluid. Thank you and have a good day.